Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Back to the hazelnut decaf this morning. Of course, with the chocolate creamer. Today's high is going to be only 75, and it looks like it's going to be a rainy day. Yay. We haven't had a whole rainy day for a while. So I'm hoping that the clouds don't just blow over and end up dropping their rain somewhere else, because I love when my garden gets a fresh summer rain, and it loves it too. So this morning I have to do a little work in my garage so that I can get my car back in the garage, because it's a rag top. And I don't like to leave that out because it fades the top if I leave it sitting out in the sun. So I want to get it back in the garage, and I'm not going to do a whole garage cleaning, but some of the things that I have are actually things that I bought for prepping, like a heater. I think it's a propane heater. And I have a little cooktop, and just things that in case the power goes out. Some rechargeable lanterns, I have those, and those aren't things I'm getting rid of, but I do have to put them up on the shelf. So that might require a trip to Home Depot to get some more longer shelving, but I don't know if I can get the long shelves that I need into my car. I may have to enlist the help of my daughter. She has an SUV, but she's working today. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I may have to use what I have for now and then just replace the shelves when she's available to help me get the shelving. So, all right, I have a mug here that I got from a set of dishes that I have. I'm trying to use up my pretty mugs, and I really like using botanical things. Even when I decorate, I like the botanical, and it goes real well with my 70s vibe with all the plants and macrame and all that I've got going on. So, but I haven't used one of these mugs in a long time. And what I did when I was downsizing, I got rid of a lot of the multiple mugs that I had, even from my kitchen dishes. I had like a dozen mugs, all with the same thing on them. So I got rid of half of them. That was kind of painful because I really liked that pattern, but I kept 6 and got rid of 6. So, if you're downsizing and you really like your dishes, just keep a couple sets and let the rest go, or whatever you can use, if it's service for 4 or 6 or 2, or even a service for 1. Now, if you're just doing a service for 1, I would suggest keeping 2 sets in case, one of the dishes gets broken, then you'll still have a complete set. And it's much easier to store 1 or 2 sets than it is to store, like a dozen. So, all right, let's give the coffee a taste. I know it's good. Cheers. That's good. So today would actually be a perfect day to work out in the garage because it's cool. And even if it's raining, I can leave the garage door open unless it's blowing and coming in. And I can open up my man door in the back, and there's a nice cross breeze there. But like I said, I'm only going to be doing a very limited garage thing this morning because I just want to make enough room to get my car back into the garage. So still going to work on the downsizing. It'd be a perfect day for that if I still have enough energy and my body holds out. I may go up in the linen closet and do a little bit more decluttering. There's more work to be done there. I haven't ordered the donation people yet. I figured I could wait. They usually come every 2 weeks, and that way, if I get enough gathered, I'm not under as much pressure to, gather up things. And if I don't have enough, then I'll just keep going, and I'll order them the following time. So I'm always adjusting what I do, trying to make life simpler, trying to figure out what it is, where it is I want to go, what direction I want to go. And that allows me to not make hasty decisions. I don't like that. I like to weigh my options and see where they lead me, rather than, being impulsive and just making a decision that I have regrets about later down the road. So, all right, I don't know what's on the agenda for today, if I will go to Home Depot or won't go to Home Depot. We'll see. So I will meet you at the budget book after I enjoy some coffee, and I'll see you there. Okay, here we are back at the budget book. So yesterday I didn't spend any money. Yay. So we're 3 for 3 here. Now I do have to buy more shelves for the garage. I need longer shelves. But I was thinking about going to Home Depot today and picking up 2 more. They run like $15 a piece. But I'm going to try and make do with what I have for now, and maybe later on in the week make the trip to Home Depot. So that needs to be completed before I can put the things on the shelf and get my garage done. So, all right. Well, without further ado, in order to save some money, I have a lot of fresh produce that I need to use up from the garden, and that's really fresh, so I need to do something with it. So I think today I will have a cooking video for you, and I'll show you what I have and what I'm going to make, and then maybe we'll have some brunch together. So all right, without further ado, let's get cooking. All right, well, this morning I have all these ingredients. I'm getting lots of cherry tomatoes, so I need to do something with this food so it doesn't go bad and that it nourishes my belly and my soul. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a zucchini, potato, and tomato soup. And I found a recipe online that I'm going to roughly follow as far as ingredients go, but that's just a starting point. I'm going to be adding other ingredients to it. So I have some cherry tomatoes. I'm going to put those in my little blender just so I don't have to peel them all. I have a tomato here from the garden that's got a little bit of a spot on it. I want to use that up. Zucchini from the garden. Greens from the garden. It's just a mix of kale and just different greens. So I'm going to put that in the soup. I have a couple potatoes and an onion. And I think that'll make a delicious soup. So I'm going to have my morning coffee while I'm making my soup, and I'm going to make that in my little Kasori Instant Pot. so it shouldn't take long at all. So I'm going to get to chopping up the vegetables, and then I'll see what kind of spices I'm going to put in there. I know I have lots of oregano from the garden that I dried. So I will put some of that in there. And I'll be back in a little bit once I get all these ingredients put together. All right, I'm sauteing my greens here. And I didn't want these to go bad. So this is some spinach and, all different kinds of various greens. And they've cooked down quite a bit. There's chard and kale, green onion. I put a little garlic, salt, and pepper on here. And now I'm going to add some garlic. A good teaspoon. I like garlic, and it's healthy for you. I'm going to add some of that. Turn down the heat a little bit. I don't want to burn the garlic. And then I'm going to put this aside and cut up the rest of my vegetables. So, let that cook a minute, and then I'll be back. Now this is the homemade oregano that I made from the garden. I need to trim that again. I'll have enough oregano for 2 years. So cheers, I'm having coffee. That'll be good here. I'll turn this off, and I'll commence to chopping. All right. Now I'm going to put all my little cherry tomatoes, the older ones that I have, I'm going to put them in my little blender here. And blend them up a little bit so that I don't have to do a lot of peeling and de-seeding. So I'm just going to cut off that little bad piece there. Put that in the composter. And these tomatoes are really good this year. They're very sweet. So I didn't have too much luck with tomatoes in the past because my garden was too shady. But now that I have a lot of sunshine back there, they're doing pretty darn well. And yesterday I fed my tomatoes, and today it's raining. So I'm expecting to see quite a bit of growth out there with my vegetable garden. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting these up and blend them up. I also want to make some bruschetta. I have a little piece of French bread left that I want to use up, so I want to use that for that. I'm going to add some more garlic salt in with the tomatoes as I grind them up. And some pepper. It's a good thing to salt and pepper all the different layers of your food. So, okay, I will be back once I get this all blitzed up. All right, well, I got my little cherry tomatoes all blitzed up, and I have a little tiny bit of sugar water left from my hummingbird feeder. It didn't fit. I'm going to put that in with my tomatoes. You know, it's weird. I don't like to waste anything, but it's like putting some sugar in with your tomatoes. So that's going to go in there, and I'm also going to add some sugar to this just to sweeten it up a little bit so it's not too acidic. You don't need to do that, but I am going to add a little sugar. All right. Sorry for the arm in the way. But this way I don't have so many, I'll still have seeds, but I don't have so many peels, tomato peels, because those can be a little tough sometimes. So, all right, I'm going to get back to chopping here, and then I'll put my soup together. All right, here I have all my seasonings. I have half a teaspoon each of thyme, rosemary, and marjoram. This is a teaspoon. These are all heaping teaspoons of complete seasoning. And I have oregano and basil and parsley. So those are going to be my seasonings, and I have this vegan chickenless seasoning from Trader Joe's. I like it, but it's kind of all clumped in there, so I want to use this up. So I'm going to be using that as my chicken soup base. And in this pan, I have this Boarhead's deli dressing, which is mostly oil, and it's been in the fridge forever and a day. I think my daughter brought this over at one point when we had a party and didn't take it back home. So I want to use that up. So I'm just going to saute my veggies in that deli dressing. So I have zucchini, 2 small potatoes, 1 small sweet onion, and 1 carrot here that I'm going to saute a little bit, and then I'm going to put it all in my little Instant Pot and make some soup along with the greens that I sauteed. So I'm sure it'll be a good soup, and I'm using up a lot of things from my refrigerator in the garden. And of course, if you don't have a garden, all these ingredients are very easy to find in a store. So it's a good veggie soup, and tomatoes and zucchini are really good together. And then I have the potatoes that I want to use up. They're starting to get a little soft. So I have like 3 or 4 more of those that I want to use up. So I didn't use a whole zucchini because it was, a little bit bigger. So I have this zucchini left that I'll do something else with. If nothing else, I'll freeze it for my stock. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and saute all this, and then I'm going to put my soup together. So I'll be back. Okay, well, I added a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes to this. I don't like heat, but it gives it a nice flavor. It's about 1/4 teaspoon. So I'm going to mix all these spices together, and then I'm going to add it to my veggies and just let it sweat for a minute or 2. And then I'm going to put it all in my Instant Pot. And cook it up and call it soup. One nice thing about soup is you can make as much of one vegetable in there or as little as you like. So, alright, I'm going to just sprinkle this over. And that'll just bring out a little bit of the oils in the herbs. So I'm just going to turn this off and let it cool off here for a minute with the spices. You don't want to burn your spices because you'll get a bitter soup. And I'm going to add a little bit more of this Because oil in your soup, especially if it's a vegetarian soup, putting any kind of oil in your soup gives it a little bit better mouthfeel. Because meat, if you use meat, of course it's fatty. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of that. Oh, this smells really good. Alright, and in here I have all my greens. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of this chickenless seasoning. I'm going to be adding water to this, so I'm going to add a good tablespoon and a half, I'd say. And I can always add more water. And then I'm going to go ahead and add all my veggies. It's always noisy when you're frying up food, and I know it's a little bit annoying on the camera, but I suppose I could wear a mic. But this is easier. And it adds to the reality of the cooking. So, okay, that's about how much is in there. It's just enough for, a few, maybe 2 or 3 bowls of delicious soup. Now you can add some pasta to this. That would be good. Some rice, some grains, some beans, any kind of beans, some chickpeas, add a little protein. But I'm going to cook it just like this. All right. Then I'm going to fill this up with water. This holds 4 cups of water. So I'm going to add it all the way to the top, and then I'm going to taste the broth and make sure it's not too salty. So I'll get some water here. This is reality cooking, folks. All right, I don't want to overfill it. That should be good. With a spoon. There we go. And I guess you can top soup like this with pesto. You can make all kinds of pesto. It doesn't have to be basil. It can be with any greens, with any nuts. So that would be good, just kind of drizzled on top of here, or as a side dish with some nice crusty bread. So let me give this a taste. Yep, that's good. That's really good. And I can taste that little tiny bit of heat from the pepper flakes, even though I didn't put much in. So, all right, I'm going to put this in my Instant Pot and cook it for about 15-20 minutes. And then we'll see what it looks like when we're done. Well, I totally forgot about the tomatoes. So anyway, what I'm doing now is I put the tomatoes just in a saucepan, and I'm cooking that up just for a few minutes, and then I'll add that to my Instant Pot veggie soup there. I don't know. This is reality cooking. So, this is probably a good demonstration about you know, you can still, even if you forget some ingredients, you can still use them. Just, you know, think of a creative way to put the two things together. Now, I could eat this just as tomato soup. That would be fine too. But the whole point of it was I wanted some tomato zucchini soup. So I'm going to let that cook on the stove for, oh, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. And then I'm cooking my soup for 20 minutes in my little Instant Pot. So, and when they're both done, I'll just put them together. So use what you have, even if you're being a bird brain and forgetting what it is you're doing. All right, I'll be back. All right, well here I had a crust of bread from the sourdough, and I just toasted it, and I didn't want to throw it away. I know some people don't like the crust. I like them. And then in here I have some of that boar's head dressing, and I thought maybe that would be good as a bread dip. You know how they do the bread dip? And I've had these little bread dip things for a long time, so I'm going to give that a try and see if it's any good. And I can use up more things. That works. Another thing I can put that on is like maybe if I make a veggie sub. That's another idea. So I'm trying to, excuse me, make room in my fridge, save money, and use up all the things that I already paid good money for, so I don't have to repeat the process again. Still have a little coffee left. I have to make another container of iced coffee. I've been enjoying that a lot, and I finished it all. So, and I just use the cheap Dollar Tree, you know, comes in a bag. You can either buy hazelnut or vanilla. I just use that to make my iced coffee, and it makes really, really delicious iced coffee. For very little money. You know, if you buy the cold brew in the containers, it's expensive. But I like good things and fine things in life, but I don't like overspending money on them, because a lot of that stuff is really marked up ridiculously high when it's so very easy to make it yourself. I mean, it takes no effort. It takes less effort to make the iced coffee in the refrigerator than it does to go to the store, go in the checkout line, and buy it. Anyway, that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, I'll be back cooking my soup, and I'll be back when that's done. All right, well, my soup is done, and I cooked the tomatoes down for about 20 minutes, so it's nice and thick now, and I hope I have room in here. And I'm just going to add the tomatoes to the soup. So even though I did make a big faux pas by not adding the tomatoes into the soup in the beginning, I think this will just be just fine. It might even be better because the tomatoes had a chance to cook down. And then, of course, you always get a little stronger tomato flavor. So it smells good, it looks good, it's a nice thick soup. So let me give it a little taste. And I think I'll have this for brunch, since since it's almost lunchtime. It's really hot. Two thumbs up for that. It's really tasty. Has just a little bit of a tiny bit of a kick in it from the pepper flakes, but not hot at all. So all right, I'm going to dish some of this up and then I'll be back. All right, well, here is my brunch for today. My homemade soup, another crust of bread, some more dipping oil, and I have some Parmesan cheese here that needs to be used up that I'm going to sprinkle on top of my soup. And I'm also going to put some in my dipping oil. All right. So there we have it. Using up what I have. Quick and easy dinner, lunch, whatever. So I'll be back to wrap things up after I eat my brunch. All right, well, I'm back. So this lunch looks so good and fancy to me that I decided I'm going to eat some of my lunch with you guys, and I'm going to do a little day drinking. I have this wine left over. It's Seven Daughters Moscato. And I'm going to have some wine with my brunch. Because why not? I don't drink much, but this needs to be used up too before it goes bad. Oh, wring it out, get every drop. So, all right, let me try my brunch. So, it was a productive morning so far, but I need to get out into the garage, get something done. This is really hot. Well, that was worth the effort. And I want to use up my crusty bread. I like the crusts, and if you toast them. Now this is for crusty bread. I don't like white bread crust too much. I make croutons or meatloaf out of that. So good. Oh, I gotta stand up. Cheers. Oh, that's good. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and finish this. And that's all I have for you today, my friends. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you. And I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching. Cheers!